Shalom, Israel. This is your girl, Aviala Israel, coming to you today with a new topic: toxic relationships. That's right, toxic relationships. So, we're just going to get right on into it. All right. So, in Israel, and with everybody, but in Israel, there is a lot of toxic relationships going on. And I don't just mean man woman type of relationship. We all know that they are uh, toxic relationships amongst each other, with your partner, with your boyfriend, with your girlfriend, with your husband and your wife at times. But I'm just going to be talking about today all types of toxic relationships, even toxic relationships with family and with friends as well. We're going to have to realize where we are and what time we're in. We need to try to cleanse ourselves of these type of relationships. First, we do want to attempt to heal them if we can, with prayer, with fasting, with communication, and all those things that the word of God, the word of the Most High, wants us to do. um, Romans 12:18 says, if it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. So we first want to attempt to live peaceably among all men. We want that attempt because we don't want to sever ties with folk uh, because of the toxicity of it. We want to give people a chance to correct behavior. We want to try to get along with our people a little bit more. We don't just want to cut people off for no reason, but we do want to try to communicate whatever problem there is. Now, when it becomes toxic is when you are not able to do that. That's what actually makes it toxic. When you cannot do what the word of God, the word of the Most High attempts for us to do, is to live peaceably. Go one to another. We're supposed to be able to do that. When you cannot do that with a person, then you may be it may be time to move on into another direction with that person, unfortunately. So I'm just going to give some quick signs that you are having a relationship with toxic people. And I'm going to first start with just family and friends. Toxic relationships with family and friends. I'm not going to be long. Um, One sign you can tell if you have a toxic relationship with a family member or a friend is respect. Do these people or this person respect and value your lifestyle and opinion? Now, when I say that, being who we are, and we may be living out a certain lifestyle, are you being kind of bullied about this? Are you being bullied about any type of change that you're trying to make? Especially if you're going towards a positive direction. Are you kind of being shunned because of it? So someone who is your friend or family member who is close with you, who respects and value your lifestyle and your choices, would never make you feel small about any choice that you're trying to make. If you tell your family member, your friend, hey, I'm thinking about opening up a business, I'm thinking about starting a new venture, I'm thinking about moving or doing whatever it is you're trying to do, it shouldn't be a bunch of bullying behind it. Looking at you like you're crazy, what you mean? I mean, they may have questions. I mean, don't get it twisted. People have questions, and it's okay, especially when we're talking about spiritual backlash, especially when we're telling people, what we believe. And we should be ready to answer those questions about what we believe. Curiosity in that area is, that's what it is. That's a part of this. We're going to have questions about why we chose this or why it chose us or whatever. And as a community, we should be ready, locked and loaded with those answers. Just, for a side note, we should always be ready to answer questions in regards to um, um, Israelites, just in general, because we're supposed to be that light to draw people in, and we should be ready. We should have ready answers for the people. But I'm saying people who are kind of making you feel some type of way, thinking you're crazy and making you feel like if you're not doing what they're doing, If you tell people, for example, if you start telling people, well, you want to try to get closer to the Most High, you want to do this and you want to do that, and they're calling you, wanting you to go out to the club, right? And you've already expressed that you're having a change of heart in life, but they're still trying to get you to kind of, go against the Most High in so many ways, which I believe is a spiritual battle, a spiritual warfare. Um, we cannot be ignorant. As 2 Corinthians 2:11 says, lest Hasatan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. We cannot be ignorant of Satan's devices, right? We can't be ignorant. And unfortunately, he uses people. People can be used as his devices to get us to go against the Most High. So if we're telling family and friends that we are choosing to do something on a positive spectrum, that we are choosing to, go after the Most High's heart and do as the Most High has commanded us to do, and they're kind of kicking against the bricks, if you will, trying to get you to go out with them some more, turn up with them again, be like that with them. That is something of a toxicity, because especially if you've expressed so many times that you don't want to do that. Now, I understand people in the beginning may not understand, but I'm talking about people who've had a significant amount of time with you to know what you will and won't do, and they're still attempting to make you do it. They're still trying to get you. That is a spiritual warfare. They're trying to figure out a way to get you to go with them and do something that you don't want to do because you're trying to live a spiritual lifestyle with the Most High. And they're still trying. I'm talking about those type of people. Of course, in the beginning, and you first tell family and friends, sometimes they're a little bit, this and that. But for the most part, if they love and care about you, they'll back off. They won't. It doesn't mean you don't have to be friends. It just means that they don't not to ask you. It's like a person who's not drinking anymore. I think it would be disrespectful if you love your family and your friends, and you have someone who used to be an alcoholic, and then you ask them, hey, do you want a beer? Do you want a shot? You're trying to hinder you're trying to make them drink again. I mean, really, honestly, if you love and care about this person, you wouldn't do that to them. Oh, you can just have a little bit. It'll be okay. That's wrong, and that's the same thing from a spiritual standpoint. That would be wrong to try to continue to make someone be involved in a lifestyle they don't want to be involved in. And I would say that spiritual warfare, and I would say this is a relationship you might want to back out of. Another sign of a toxic relationship, just them just being a negative person. Once we come into this truth and once we grow spiritually, some stuff does not appease to us anymore. That it just doesn't appeal to us. I'm going to give you an example. Just this dragging and the spilling of the tea. Everybody who listening, you probably know what I'm talking about. This tea spilling, I'm going to tell you, I actually detest it. I really don't care about what people are doing. Really. I mean, not in a negative way. I'm not trying to be mean or ugly when I say this, but I am not a gossip person. And I personally actually really detest people calling me to tell me what everybody in the world is doing. Not like world news, but I mean like, Facebook stuff. Girl, you know what they did. And girl, And girl, they did. Honestly, they may not even know that I actually hate this seriously with a real old fashioned, for real passion. I don't like that. This calling you to tell you what everybody has got going on. I have so much going on. I have so much going on that I actually don't have the time to know what everybody is doing. I am not even on Facebook yet for this very reason. Now, I understand that Facebook can be used for good things. I have heard that several times. Facebook is supposed to be used for good things. When you have a business and you're trying to grow it, I get that. You got some information you need to pass on quickly, I get that. But people are being ignorant of this device being used to distract people and to draw people into like a negative zone where you're bullying people and you are just being straight up nosy. Like, why do you even care about what everybody has been doing? Somebody you haven't seen in 10, 20 years, girl, And I'm just like, oh man, I promise you, that's just a pet peeve for me. I know some people can handle it. I actually avoid those people like the plague. just because I don't want to hear other people's business this much. I mean, it's a distraction for me. And just, you have this, another thing is that you just have this overwhelming feeling sometimes, how you know it's toxic, that you just don't want to go and visit, or you don't want to be around this particular person. If I'm going to visit a friend, I should have a feeling of overwhelming happiness, or okayness. But if I have that dreadful feeling, of just, oh, I don't even want to see such and such. If you go into a family thing where you just don't even want to see a person, that's a sign these people, or that person, might be a toxic person to be around, friend or family. Because you just have this overwhelming feeling of, I just don't want to be around them, because they just bring a negative energy to the table. They have negative conversation. All they want to talk about is probably other people. They want to do the little side shots and their bullying or whatever they're doing. It's just that environment that you just don't want to be in. And anybody who's listening, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Where you would like to do something with them, but you just like, I don't want to do it, because you know how they are. You know what I mean? When the Most High takes you from one level to the other, those type of relationships are going to be really hard to swallow. They are, because he's removing you. I guess he's, for me, Second Corinthians 6:17 comes to mind, where he says, "Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you." So I think that we're having a change of the hearts, if you will. And the Most High is changing our hearts to be separate from people and things that just don't appease to us anymore. And maybe that's what's happening when you're having a heart change, where you're just like, oh, this just is not something I want to do. I don't want to go there. I don't want to be around them. And it's just not to be ugly towards the people. We can have that conversation towards that person and say, hey, I don't really want to do X, Y, and Z. But like I said earlier, it's when they're trying to force that negative lifestyle. You're crazy. They think they're better than us. That type of mentality that the person may seem to be having, it might be time to back out, side step to the right and come on out of it. Because it's not that you're trying to be better, unless you're coming across in an ugly way. You don't have to be ugly towards, remember, these people are still your friends and your family. And we don't want to be a negative person, but we also want people to respect our boundaries. We don't ever have to sacrifice. You should never have to sacrifice your boundaries for the love of a friend, of a family member, because the love should be all across the board and all the way around. So if you find yourself having to sacrifice something you want for the relationship, yeah, you definitely need to come on out of it and just kind of take a step back, meaning just limit the amount of communication you have, or limit the amount of time that you spend around these people, because they don't seem to get it, and maybe then they'll get it, unfortunately, and then maybe they'll come and ask, hey, what's going on? And then you can really have that conversation about mending fences in a way that both of you guys are comfortable with. If everybody can be okay with, yeah, I don't want to do that anymore. I still love you. I still want to be your friend, but that's not something I want to do anymore. They should respect that. But anyway, moving right along. Now, I guess everyone's favorite topic will probably be toxic relationships with your partner. Yeah. So, unfortunately, we do have a lot of this going on. And toxic relationship with your partner, some signs that you're in a bad relationship with them. Another example, they being jealous or upset about any change. Okay. That will probably go with the first one, with your families and friends, but it's different when you live with someone, married to someone, you're with someone. And this happens a lot when a person says they want to, start living for the Most High. And so sometimes our partners are not ready for that change, because, we might have fell in love with that cool person. That cool guy, that cool girl that's so much fun, used to turn up at every corner, just my ride or die and all of that. And now he or she wants to follow the Most High, which limits a lot of all that stuff that we quote unquote fell in love with. But see, if we know anything about love, we know that that's just the flesh. That's all that is, that we're falling in love with, is that feeling that we get, because real love endures all of that. Real love is there no matter what's going on, you know. Um, and if anything, they follow suit. If anything, but we know that doesn't happen. They again might kick against the bricks. So they may take little digs, become jealous or distant to push you back into the relationship. Um, Kind of shunning you out because you make them uncomfortable. They don't know how to receive you. They don't know how to deal with you with this new found spiritual life that you have going on, and they don't know how to deal with it. And so they treat, they may create a little distance, maybe to get you to go towards them more, or just in general. You don't even have to be a person that is trying to go towards the Most High. I talk about this a lot because that's where I am in life. But, and I know so many others are in this awakening, it's going through some of these similar things. But you could just be in a bad relationship for any reason. You could just got a new job, or just got a pay salary raise or something. And if you're with a toxic person, they'll probably treat you the same way, just because they don't like the fact that you've gained something over them. They feel this one-up mentality that I talked about earlier in my previous narcissistic video. Just that I don't like that you're above me type scenario. Another way you can tell you're in a toxic relationship with a bad, in a bad relationship, is relationship seems to be one-sided. You're doing all the work. You are the one putting in all the effort to make this thing work out. The other person is really pretty much like, yeah, whatever. Whatever. And that's somebody who is just don't really care about what happens in the relationship. They know that you're going to be there. They know that you're going to do all the work, and they don't have to do anything. And any little bitty thing that they're doing, you're going to be so happy that they did it anyway, that's going to be enough to make you stay. That's not a relationship that you want to be in. The Most High, I don't believe now. I understand that people are hurting now. Don't get it twisted. So many people in Israel are just hurting because they don't know about love. They don't know how to treat people. Because we were brought up in a way, sometimes some of us single parent homes, some of us in narcissistic households. Don't get it twisted. I understand what pain is. And hurting people just naturally sometimes hurt other people. This is not to say that these people are the worst people that ever walked the planet. I always say, try to talk to somebody first to get them to understand. And if you can't come to a resolution, pray about it. But in that meantime, you may have to let that person go in order for the Most High to bring them into it, understanding, and let him deal with them. Let him be the one to cultivate and mold that male or that female into the man or woman you want them to be. You can love somebody from across town. You can love them over there somewhere. You can still love that person without allowing yourself to be hurt. That was a huge problem for me, where I was, just wanted love. You know how you are when you are an empath and a codependent. Relationships are just a lot. They mean a lot to you. And so being in it, even if you knew it wasn't right, was still a way to validate yourself. But the Father will help you feel validated if you get closer to him. He created you in his image. He stitched you together in your mother's womb. You are a unique thing to him. And if he has someone for you, they will treat you in the image that he wants. They will bring forth that spirit that he has. They will treat you with love and care. They won't make you do all the work. Just put it like that. And then, like I said before, I do understand that people are hurting. This is not to say that if someone is treating you bad, it's probably because they just want to. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's just because they don't know any different. They don't know. We're broken out here, y'all. I mean, we are broken, but I foresee the Most High kind of mending these fences amongst us. I believe that the Most High is going to start building us back up as a unit, as a community, to love each other ultimately. With the process that we're going through now will be long and drawn out, but I do believe that he's going to start mending relationships amongst each other, that we'll learn how to treat each other along the way. Okay. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier about being upset about change. I also just want to say we have to understand that Satan, Hasatan rather, he uses people. And since we know that John 10:10 says that the thief cometh not but for to steal and kill and to destroy, to steal our dreams, to kill our spirit, and to destroy our future, he'll send people to do that. And what better way than to use broken people to do that? Who already in their mind is like, I don't have anything to lose anyway. You use broken people to break other people. And we have to step back in that type of scenario and let the Most High do his thing. And we have to trust that he knows what he's doing. He created them too, So another way to tell if you're in a toxic relationship is they rule it with an iron fist. My way or the highway. They don't really want to work things out. They have this my way or the highway mentality. Meaning we're going to do this now. Understand that in a marriage, your husband is supposed to rule. But not in a way that is demeaning or disrespectful to his wife. Meaning violence or talking ugly to you, calling you the B word and telling you how bad you are. And in these days and times, it can go around the other way. You talking ugly to your husband. I don't know, but talking ugly to your husband, threatening to leave every 5 minutes, you leave and stay gone all night to make him, to whip him in shape. You're using toxic tactics to control folk. No sex and I'm just going to leave and I ain't going to call you, be gone for days on end. And I would say for the people who are in those type of relationships where you're just kind of starting out dating someone and they're already using I'm not going to talk to you for a couple of days. Who wants to be with somebody who can go a day or two without talking to them? Who want to be with somebody who can do that? No one really wants to. That should give you a sign of who they're going to be in the relationship. If you could go a day or two without talking to me and you know how much I love you and you're supposed to love me, then I'm not sure. And you should be questioning that. You should be questioning that at all corners of the across the board. And let's not forget the trusty old tactic that narcissists love to use, and even non-narcissists, the silent treatment. That's what I just said. Where you have done something and the narcissist is not going to tell you. That's the only difference. They're not even going to tell you what you've done. They're just not going to talk to you. They see you calling and texting and they don't respond. They don't say anything to you. And you have to figure out what's going on. And so sometimes you'll be so desperate to find out what's going on. You're begging and pleading. You're crying. You're upset or whatever. And you just don't know what to do. And that's how they want you to be. Because it boosted their ego to see you be that way. It gives them some type of satisfaction, which is kind of a sickness, to see you being that way, kind of groveling and really upset in behind what the narcissist is doing. So I would say, really ask the Most High for help in those situations. But, those are some signs of toxic relationships that we really need to pray about, that we really need to work on. And I'm going to pray that we can get those things together and that we can come one to another like we should, and be able to communicate and figure out how to get this thing right in Israel with prayer, with fasting and supplication to the Most High, and also being able to just communicate with one another. So that's really all I have for you guys today. That's all I want to talk about. Let's just look into our family dynamics and look into our friendships and our relationships. And let's ask the Most High for health, happiness, and healing. And until next time, Israel, shalom.